Alright, quick update on GMT. So, what's been going on today? Well, we're actually up a tiny bit on the day. We haven't done too much since yesterday when we did have our big downpour. But if we come over to the 4-hour, you can see we've had a little bit of chop today. Yesterday and the day before, we were forming this head and shoulders pattern. You can see we've now fulfilled the price target of this down here at $2.95. We actually came down to $2.97, so we were just about 2 cents off the target. We came right down. I don't think I've talked about this head and shoulders before, but nonetheless the price target is already filled. I did not mean to get rid of my EMAs, I meant to get rid of the price target. So what do I see going on for GMT today? Well, we've already had this big momentum shift to the downside, and in my opinion, it looks like it's pretty much complete. Every other time, well, the only time rather that we've had a move down this low, we were out of the woods within another 2 candles. So I believe within the next 8 hours, that GMT is going to have another shot of breaking above this neckline that we previously broke below and having a further push back up to the downside. Now, in my previous video, I actually talked about my stop loss, and it was all the way down here at $2.70. If you remember, if you were here on my first videos when we were in GMT, I think we got in on this retest between 30 to 40 cent. So I talked about my stop loss on this. If we do plan on coming down and the market starts crashing, I personally have my stop loss for GMT up here at $2.70. That would mean I'm walking away with an 8.5x return. I wouldn't cry if we did came down to that. So I don't actually think we are coming down to that. In the lower time frames, it looks like the bearish move has already completed, and on the daily we are still very much in favor of the bulls. If we look at this on the daily time frame, what I can see is we've had a big impulse, we've made an all-time high, we've come down, had an accumulation range, made a new all-time high, and currently we're back testing the previous all-time high. So I think we're getting ready for that move back up to the upside. I really don't have anything else to say. I don't want to waste your time by going into the 1 hourly time frame. I feel like that's degenerative. I don't feel like drawing fibs best defines this uptrend either. I feel like I said this in my previous videos, and you know, everyone who watches my channel knows how much I use fibs, but you know, at least we came down to the 0.5. We're looking exceptionally bullish on this micro impulse. However, as I said in my previous video, these 4 hourly EMAs are a godsend. We keep on pumping and retracing and coming back into them and then having further pushes to the upside. So while we are in this phase when we keep on coming into the 4 hours and pushing up, I have absolutely nothing to worry about in my opinion. I think specifically for GMT, I don't do this with any other crypto, but I feel like you could almost purely trade GMT based on the 4 hourly EMA ribbons. That is going to change later on in the future. This is still early days for GMT. However, at least for now, the trend is your friend until the end, and the 4 hourly EMA ribbons are working perfectly to define this uptrend that we're in. I think we're going to start pushing to the upside. Keep your eyes on $3.20. That is where the short-term moving average will be. If we start moving above there, then we can get all of the moving averages moving back to the upside again and get enough momentum to swing over the daily. Well, I meant the daily is already bullish, to get enough momentum to swing back the 4 hourly to the upside. That's all I see for GMT. All I see in this video is a healthy correction, so didn't want to take up too much time. That's all I've got for you. Also, one last thing. Bitcoin seems to be coming down. It's in an ascending channel. We have broken out of this this triangle right now, this descending triangle. We broke out of it, had a back test of it. You can also argue that we are in an ascending channel. Both are completely valid. You know, we've got this triangle pattern within this big channel. Nonetheless, you know, whether you want to think that we're back testing the lows of this channel or back testing this triangle again, we are doing that. And in the past 4 hours, we have had a large increase in volume as we have started to move up in the past 4 to 8 hours. That's all I've got for you. I think Bitcoin is going to keep on moving up. I think this was just a correction over the past couple of days to put in another higher low before a big uptrend for Bitcoin. What do you think that's going to mean for GMT? In my opinion, I think that's going to mean higher price targets. That's all I've got for you today. Keep your eyes again on $3.20. A strong push above $3.20 will mean that we are gearing up above these 4 hourly EMAs again. And historically, every time pretty much we've come into these retraced and then pumped back above them, we've always had continuation. So that's what I personally foresee happening for GMT. Once again, if I am wrong, and this, well, because eventually at some point I'm gonna have to be wrong, because I'm saying, you know, we're trading based on these 4-hourly EMAs. At some point we're gonna fall out of these EMAs and the trend is gonna be over. For me, if we come back down to this 618 fib down here at $2.70, I would personally pull my profits, at which point, like I said, I got in all the way down here. I am not a long-term investor in GMT. This was a short-term trade for me, and so far the trend is still very bullish to the upside, so I have no reason to think that we're going to come down to my stop loss. I will be exponentially increasing my stop loss if we do come up and hit my higher price targets. For example, if we come up to the 2.618 fib at $5, then I'll probably move my my stop loss all the way up to the previous all-time high at $3.12. If we then break above the 2.618, I'll move my stop loss up to $3.81. Either way, I don't think we're about to break down. I think we look very bullish. Lower and higher time frames are both in the favor of the bulls, and GMT is setting up to look like one of the healthiest charts I've seen out of all the cryptos I cover. That's all I've got for you today. Once again, not financial advice. Cowboy out, and as always, peace.